Hello everyone, Tanya Cottrell here, and I'm just going to be doing a pretty short overview of some frequently asked questions about dōTERRA's compensation plan. So we're just going to take a look at some screenshots I took of our official corporate compensation plan document. What you're looking at here is page 1 of a 3-page document. This is really important to have your hands on. So I'm going to recommend, if you don't already have this printed out, go and print it out from the dōTERRA site and study it. Have it where you can review it. In fact, when I first started building my business, for the first several years, I had a laminated copy of the compensation plan chart, and it hung on the wall right above my desk, and I studied it all the time. I reviewed it, I looked at it all the time, and it really helped me understand exactly what I needed to build, exactly what I needed to accomplish to hit that next level and to grow my income. So understanding the compensation plan is really, really important. I'm actually always surprised at how many builders and even leaders are still not clear on exactly how income is generated through each of the different types of commission. And they get confused on the qualifications and really where does the money come from? And that's proof that you can move forward in this company without fully understanding and grasping all of it, but that means you're probably losing some opportunity along the way. And I want you to have a clear path so that you can maximize your building. You can hit those ranks, you can hit those higher level commission qualifications, and you don't accidentally miss out on opportunities because you didn't see them, because you didn't realize some aspects of the compensation plan could be played into your favor. Okay, so how do you find this compensation plan document? You're going to log in at dōTERRA.com. You have to log in to get access to this. It's not visible to the general public. Once you log in, you'll see a tab called Resources at the top. You're going to click Resources, and then you're going to click Literature, and then you're going to look for Quick Reference. Click Quick Reference, and there's a lot of documents. So then you can find the compensation plan on there. You can find other documents, like you'll notice on this one where it says Power of 3 bonus, underneath it in the smaller text, it says see the Power of 3 details page for a complete description of rules and requirements. So that's a separate document that's also under those quick reference resources, and there's a lot of good stuff there. So explore around your resource tab. There's so much. It's a library of building tools, and if you're not using that, you're missing out on a lot of support that could point you in the right direction. Okay, so let's jump into the frequently asked questions. The ones we're going to cover today are, do you have to have 100 PV LRP to get paid? Can I still get paid if I don't have someone's I don't have enrollership of someone? Does my qualifier have to be on my front line, or my qualifiers have to be on my front line? What if something is kind of wonky on my structure and it's not paying out right? Can I fix it? And then we're going to go over 7 keys to maximizing the compensation plan at the end. All right. So let's tackle that first question. This is a big one. Lots of confusion here. Lots of confusion. Do you have to have 100 PV LRP in order to get paid? Yes and no. Okay. The reason people are confused on this is because they haven't read this chart. They haven't read this document. So let's go over each of the types of commission, because the answer is different for each one. That's the first thing you really need to get through your head. You can take care of the qualifications for your PV by having 100 PV LRP across the board. So that's why people get confused and just think, oh, that's just what you do to get paid. Well, if you do it that way, you're going to cover all your bases. But that LRP is not required for each type of commission. They each have their own set of qualifications. So retail profit, not something we talk about a lot because it's not the biggest moneymaker in dōTERRA. Notice, this is their official chart, okay? This is straight from the company. They're going to tell you what your qualification requirements are on here. It does not say anything about having a PV requirement or having an LRP requirement. This type of commission technically can be earned by anyone who is a wellness advocate. Okay, let's move on to the Fast Start bonus. Fast Start does depend on your loyalty rewards template. Okay, you do have to have a 100 PV LRP to get paid on Fast Start, to get paid on your weekly Fast Start checks. But there's a little twist to it here. So how the software system works is it's going to check the system. It's going to check your account when it's time to issue those paychecks. If you enrolled someone, or you have people on your downline who have enrolled people, you get the 20% when you enroll someone. Someone you've enrolled, if they enroll someone, you get 10. And then if it goes one level deeper, you get the 5%. For any of that, the software is going to kind of comb through, and it's going to see which ones you would earn, and it'll compile all the 20, 10s, and 5%, and that will create your Fast Start check, which is paid out weekly. However, it will also look to see if you have 100 PV saved in your LRP cart or your template. Okay? If you do not have 100 PV saved, now you don't have to have it processed yet for Fast Start, but if you don't have 100 PV saved on your template, and this is not dollar amount, this is PV, this is really important, you will not get your Fast Start check. You have to have that saved in order to be paid Fast Start. So this is really important when you bring on a new builder and they are going for their first enrollment. You want to double check and make sure that they've got 100 PV saved in their cart, because people get confused and they put $100 worth in, and then their PV might be sitting, at 95 or 90 or something, and then they don't get their paycheck, and that's really, really discouraging. Now, what happens if someone misses a paycheck? Can doTERRA, show some grace, fix that, reissue them a check? Yes and no. They do allow a one-time commission exception. If you messed up and you need them to make a special exception and go back and pay you because you didn't have your qualifications in place, you accidentally, like your LRP dropped or something, you can, one time. So yes, a new builder could do that if they miss their first check by accident, but I hate to see them do that, because I don't like to see people play that wild card too early. And let's say they missed, a $60 paycheck or a $20 paycheck or even a $150 paycheck. They have now spent that one-time exception, and there may be a day down the line when they're a platinum or a diamond, and they accidentally, I hope this never happens to anyone, but accidentally didn't run their LRP or something, and now they're missing out on an $8,000 paycheck or a $16,000 paycheck or a $20,000 paycheck. And so it's kind of nice to have that. I've never used mine as a blue diamond. I've never used mine, and I hope I never have to. But that, yes, you can have them give you that exception, but only once. So play your card wisely and don't mess up your LRP, and help your new builders know, because they need a little guidance. Okay, so Fast Start is paid out based on having 100 PV saved in your template. So it's paid weekly. So let's say somebody sets up their LRP template and they've got their 100 PV or more in their, I call it the shopping cart, saved in the shopping cart. And then they get their paycheck, and maybe it's still saved there and they have it set to process a little later in the month. They get another paycheck. And then they decide that they don't want to spend that much money, and so they drop it down below 100, and they only process it at like 50 or something. Do they get to keep that money? doTERRA will put a clawback on their account. So they're not going to bill you. They're not going to bill that person for the money. But what they are going to do is the next time they are earning a check from doTERRA will claw back that amount as they'll garnish it out of their paycheck until they're reimbursed back for that. So Technically, could somebody get away with that like once? Yeah, if they never earn another check. But it's not really an honest way to do it, but they will claw that back. So you have to have the 100 PV in your shopping cart, but you do have to eventually process it in the month if you want to keep the money. So that's how I explain it. 100 PV saved in the LRP shopping cart in the template when the Fast Start paycheck is issued. And I believe that it runs the software on Sundays and then issues the checks on Wednesdays, and then you get it in the mail whenever you get it in the mail or in your direct deposit. So you definitely want to have it saved in there to get paid, but you actually have to process your LRP in order to stay paid, in order to keep the money. Make sense? Okay, Power of 3 bonus. This one is all about LRP. This is the commission that is based on LRP, like to a T. And it doesn't matter what your template is. It's all about what you've run so far. Okay, so you need to have at least 100 PV, and each person in your Power of 3 structure needs to have at least a 100 PV LRP. But you have this little thing called team volume. If you look off to the side, you can see 600 team volume. Do you see that? Do you see how the brackets encompass you and your your 3 people on your first line that give you your $50 Power of 3? For each level, it's going to be that person and the 3 below them. They need to have a total of 600. So there's a really great little twist to this, though. You can add in other people, even if they are not one of your 3 that have the 100 PV LRP. You can count in other people that are on that same level, that same line. If they have even like a standard order, a one-time order, and it has PV, it counts. It counts in with that. If you have more than 3 that run an LRP, maybe you've got 3 that run 100 PV, but you've got one that just ran a $40 LRP. That 40 counts as well. Okay. And of course, if all 4 of you run 150 PV LRP, you're golden. You've got your 600. So just keep that in mind. Now, this is based on an LRP processed anytime throughout the month. Anytime throughout the month. So right now we're in the month of September. Anytime you and your people under you that are part of your Power of 3 structure run an LRP, it counts towards this, and that's going to be qualifying your Power of 3 bonus that's paid out next month around the midpoint of the month. You're usually going to get that check the 15th to the 17th, somewhere in there. Okay, so when you get that paycheck at that mid-month point, the next month, it's paying you for everything you did the month before, with the exception of Fast Start, because Fast Start gets paid weekly as you go. Every other form of commission is part of your main commission check that you get mid-month that's paying you for what you did the month before. All right. So you want by the end of the month, the 30th or the 31st or whatever the last day of the month is, you want to make sure your Power of 3 is lit up on your dashboard and it's showing all the levels to the level that you are trying to earn for that month to get paid out on the 15th. Now, what if somebody does a return after the end of the month? Yeah, it'll drop your pay. So you need to watch that. You need to go between the 1st of the month and say the 13th of the month. You need to watch it. I check it every once in a while to make sure there hasn't been a return. And the way you do that is on your dashboard. You go to your Power of 3 dashboard area, and there's a little place to change the date. And you want to backdate it to the month before and just look and go, okay, my 250 Power 3 is still there. My 1500 Power 3 is still there. If someone does a return, you can sometimes work with dōTERRA to fill in a little bit of volume and have it backdated to fix it, as long as it's not too much. You have to work with your upline on that. It kind of depends on the level that is needed there, but sometimes they can help you fix that, and sometimes they can't. If it's too much volume that was lost, then it's just lost. But so that's why it's nice to have a little extra sometimes. But that's the qualification. Those LRPs have to be in during the month that is calculating up your commission, and then it'll be paid a few weeks later, the midpoint of the next month, as the system looks back at your qualification. See, that's the thing. The software system doesn't actually check and calculate your commission until they're calculating it at that midpoint, and then they look back. So it's not going to remember, oh, you had it at the end of the month. It looks at what is recorded at that point. So if volume drops, it can affect Power of 3. It can affect rank. Got it? Now, what if somebody orders a $75 LRP, 75 PV LRP, and then a 30 PV LRP during the same month? It counts. It used to not be this way. It had to be in one order, but dōTERRA really did us a favor, and they said, yeah, it can accumulate. It's a cumulative total of LRP orders. Now, if someone ordered 75 PV on LRP, and then they sold 25 PV as a retail sale, that doesn't add up to 100 PV LRP, because all of that PV did not come from their LRP orders. 25 PV of that came from a retail sale, which retail sales do add to your PV amount, the PV listed on your dashboard that you're credited for. But for Power of 3, it checks to see how much of that came from your LRP orders. It's looking at LRP only. It's gonna not look at anything that came from retail sales or anything that came from a standard order. Make sense? Okay, we're gonna go to the next slide that shows the next page of the compensation plan. Now keep in mind, this whole page is all about one type of compensation, unilevel. They have it listed here as your residual earnings, and then unilevel organizational bonus underneath. This is the biggest payout portion of the compensation plan. It always seems just minuscule when you're first building your business. But as you get into the upper leadership ranks, this is where the big money is. I promise you, this is the pipeline. The fortune lies in the unilevel. So you do want to be investing in growing your team, even when it's not the largest part of your commission, even when you're highly dependent on fast start. Keep building that fast start and Power of 3, and it will, by default, build your unilevel, okay? So eventually, this is going to be that pipeline of residual income that lets you, retire or see your vision board dreams come true. This is really highly important, so you want to understand this. Okay, it's a chart. If you go from the top down, it's going to list qualifications in the purple sections, and then it's going to show you, it's almost like a new chart at that point, your levels down. So if you were to actually go and look at your graphic tree in your back office, go look at that. If you aren't used to using that, go look at it and get a visual. I'm a very visual person, so I use that graphic tree all the time. Get a visual, look at that graphic tree, and just know that these levels, this chart correlates to that. So whoever's below you, level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, 6, 7, and beyond, it's going to tell you how much you earn on those people's orders. Now remember, you don't earn anything on anyone's orders in their first 60 days of being enrolled. That's dōTERRA's only paying out fast start on their orders those first 60 days. But once they've been enrolled 60 days, then their upline earns unilevel on them from that point on. How much? Well, it depends on what level they are to what upline. So let's just look at that first column, Wellness Advocate. So you can see the columns from left to right go through the ranks. Wellness Advocate has not yet hit 500 in OV. OV, see how on the purple on the left you have monthly PV and monthly OV. PV is personal volume here. Personal volume is your LRP order, any standard orders, and any retail sales that you've made. Monthly OV is you and everyone below you's orders that month, how much PV that accumulates up to. So a wellness advocate is someone who has less than 500 organizational volume. They can only earn 2% unilevel on anyone on their first level. And that's it. It's going to be so small. It's so small. They only have to have 50 PV, but it's really kind of an irrelevant position to be in because there's just not going to be much unilevel coming out of there. We're talking maybe a couple bucks. Now, manager, the qualifications change. Notice from here on out, the qualification for your PV is 100 PV. Does it say anywhere on this chart anything about Loyalty Rewards Program or LRP? It does not. LRP has nothing to do with unilevel commission, and this is where people get really confused. They don't realize that you can hit a rank, qualify at that rank, and get paid unilevel without an LRP. Now, do you want to have an LRP? Totally, you do, but this is important to understand for your downline because you may have somebody that drops below on their LRP. There are ways to get that PV requirement in with even if they don't get their LRP up so that they can qualify at their rank, which is going to qualify you at your rank. Okay, that's why I'm making this really clear to you. I'll give you an example of that in a minute, but let's just go through this chart. So the monthly personal volume requirement from manager all the way up is 100 PV. It never goes up higher than that, which is really cool. It's always 100 PV. The monthly OV changes. Now, the ranks manager through Premier, you qualify based on your OV only. As long as you have that 100 PV, you can hit any of the ranks, but you have to have that second qualification, which is the OV. So managers 500, directors 1,000, executives 2,000, elite is 3,000, Premier is 5,000 with an additional requirement. Got it? Look at silver and forward. There's no more OV qualification. What's the PV qualification? It's still 100. It doesn't matter what your OV is anymore. What matters is what ranks your legs are hitting. Now, Premier is this unique rank. It's the bridge. It's the glue. It bridges the entry-level ranks with the leadership ranks. It bridges them. And it's training you and teaching you when you're a Premier. Actually, when you're an elite working towards Premier, it's training and teaching you to start focusing on your structure requirements instead of just your volume. So a Premier has both. They have an organizational volume OV requirement and a structural requirement. So they have to have 5,000, but they have to have 2 qualified legs that each hit executive. Okay, those legs have to be separate from each other. They can't be upline or downline from each other at all. They just have to be separate legs. They have to have 2 people that are personally enrolled to them on separate legs hit executive that month. Qualify at executive. What is an executive? Let's go back and look at executive. 100 PV, 2,000 OV. No structure requirements. So if they have 2 legs that are executive, that's 2,000 OV. And 2,000 OV, that's 4,000 OV, but a Premier has to have 5,000 OV. So they need another 1,000 that comes from another leg or that comes from maybe one of those Premier legs is actually higher than 2,000. Maybe they're both hitting 2,500. Maybe one's hitting elite and one's hitting executive. Maybe they're, both just over 2,000, but you've got a couple other legs and plus your own order that's factoring into that extra 1,000. There's a lot of ways it could happen, but that's how you qualify for Premier. Okay, let's say you're a Premier, but one of your executives, it looks like they're not set up to actually hit executive because they've got that 2,000 OV, but they accidentally only processed their LRP for 95 PV. And, of course you're going to get a hold of them and see if they can get that extra 5 PV LRP run before the end of the month. But let's say you can't get a hold of them and you're down to the wire and then there's a few hours left. Can you fix it yourself? Yes, you can. This is how you fix it. You basically play the role of a customer shopping on their dōTERRA shopping site. Okay, their replicated website. So you basically would go to doTERRA.com / And the best way to find their site is you've got to grab their member ID and then put it in there. So my replicated site is doTERRA.com/Cottrell. That's my last name. I set it up that way. Or / and then my number ID. Both ways work to get you somewhere. But people can edit their names and their website. And so you might not be able to guess what it is, or they may have a duplicate name. So doTERRA set it up differently. So just using that member ID gets you to their replicated site. And you sometimes have to clear your caching cookies. Just clear your history on your computer so it doesn't auto log you into your own account. Keep watching it and make sure it stays. Sometimes it keeps trying to log you into your own account. It stays on that site. You place a retail order. Now you're going to pay, this is what hurts a little bit, you're going to pay retail price for that product. So you need to know how much PV the products are. But if they processed an LRP order for $95 and you can't get that fixed by the end of the month and it's going to affect you hitting Premier, is it going to be worth going in and ordering, a tube of toothpaste at retail and paying a few bucks more to get that order, to get their PV up to 100 so they hit executive and you hit Premier? Totally worth it. It's totally worth it to do that, okay? So that's why you really want to watch that PV. But people panic when someone doesn't have their LRP processed at 100 and they think there's nothing I can do because I can't log into their account and run an LRP for them. You don't need to do that. It doesn't have to be an LRP to qualify them for rank, to qualify you for rank, and that qualifies you both for earning unilevel commission. Does that make sense? Now, silver and above, there's no OVA requirement for you anymore. It's just based on your legs. So to be silver, you need 3 elites. They each have to have their 3,000. To be gold, you need 3 premiers. Each premier needs 2 executives. So now you're kind of, along with your premiers, you're watching those executive legs and making sure that nothing needs to be fixed by the end of the month. Is this making sense? Now, when you hit different ranks, notice the income qualifications drops a level. You get paid on another level deeper, another level deeper, another level deeper. At silver, you get paid on all 7 levels. All right. Now, you can also get something called dynamic compression. I am not going to do a dynamic compression training on here today. It's very complicated. But you see that little line on the bottom with the arrows going up. That's just indicating that dynamic compression exists. And it's a way that the computer system makes sure that every single order pays up. It pays out 7 payments to upline. So if there's someone in between that didn't qualify to get paid because they didn't have their PV, or they only hit manager and this person's on their 6th level, they don't get paid on their 6th level. For whatever reason, if they're not qualified to get paid, the system bypasses them and it pays it up to the next person. So you actually do, as a leadership rank, you get often paid on people in your 9th, 10th, sometimes 11th, 12th, 13th, even farther down levels. So don't worry if there's people in between that drop their LRP or something. When it comes to actually unilevel, it's going to bypass them and pay up to you. So dynamic compression is a whole separate training. It's complicated. It's a little bit hard to even track and predict totally because it's like a huge database the computer goes through. But just know that's there and it's really cool. Most companies don't do this and they just like pocket the extra money that people don't earn. doTERRA always pays it out to someone, and that someone can often be you. Okay, so just in review, unilevel commissions and rank qualifying does not depend on LRP amount. It doesn't depend on LRP at all. It only depends on PV, which can come from LRP or a standard one-time order or a retail sale. Okay? All right, I'm going to jump to the 3rd page. We don't really have any frequently asked questions right now on this, but this is just the leadership pools. These are shares you get in company profits depending on what rank you're at. And I want to challenge you to sit down, read through this, and understand them. Now, it's not telling you how much dollar amount to expect because the shares fluctuate. So they can't print a dollar amount. But what I'm going to tell you is the higher ranking you are, the larger the shares are. Okay. So there's leadership performance pool shares, silvers, golds, and platinums get those. There's diamond performance pools. Diamonds and above don't get the leadership ones anymore, but they get the diamond ones, which are much bigger. And, each rank gets a different number of shares. So diamonds, blue diamonds, and presidentials get those. And then in the blue, you'll see diamonds have their own unique pool. Blue diamonds have their own unique pool, and presidential diamonds have their own unique pool, and they get extra shares there. And then there's this cool additional pool called the empowerment pool that's just for premier silvers and golds. This one's a little unique because it's not just based on hitting the rank. All of these, you just hit the rank, and that month you get to be part of the pools. But the empowerment pool, you also need to enroll someone. You have to have an enrollment personal to you. You're listed as the enroller of 100 PV to get an empowerment share. Golds can get up to 2, but they have to have 2 personal enrollments of 200 PV each to get that share. I see people leave this money on the table all the time. Like, they actually hit one of these ranks, but they can't get their share because they didn't enroll anybody that month. So keep that in mind. That's important. That can be a couple $100 extra bucks in addition to your fast start for that enrollment. I'm all about maximizing the compensation plan. You don't ever want to leave money on the table because you just missed something. Got it? Okay, I think we covered all of the LRP details, the LRP and the PV confusion. So let's talk about, I'm going to go back to this chart, enrollership. Can I still get paid on people that I don't have enrollership of? Yes. You can make a lot of money off of their sales and their orders on their downline on unilevel. You can make a tremendous amount of money. So just because maybe an upline enrolled someone and placed them on your team, you're not going to get fast start off of them. You can't use them as one of your qualifiers for rank. But whatever they do, that's volume that feeds into your unilevel. And if it's under one of your qualifiers, that's volume that helps a leg qualify. So if you have someone on your team that enrolls someone, you're not the enroller of them, but should you be excited and offer some, whatever help and support you can? Absolutely, because their growth is going to grow your paycheck. The only commission that you're not going to be able to get from them is fast start. Okay. And that is not the biggest moneymaker in doTERRA. Power of 3, you don't have to have enrollership of those people. They could be placed from your upline. Now, don't get hung up. If you don't have any placements, don't worry. I don't have any placed on my team either. You don't need any. It's not everybody has them. And those that do usually don't have very many. So it's a bonus if you have one. But you can make your power of 3 and your unilevel both tremendous payouts on people that you don't have enrollership of, and they can help you earn these bonuses as well. Okay, do my qualifiers have to be on my front line? Absolutely not. It doesn't matter what level they're on. They do not have to be on your front line. Let me tell you, I qualified my first time. My elites were all on my first line when I qualified as silver, or they're all on my front line. When I qualified for gold, a couple of my legs it was like lower level, like second, and on one leg a second level and another leg a third level person that hit premier, and their upline just hit elite because they didn't have their 2 legs. Their OV was growing, but they didn't have their structure in place. When I was a diamond, that's 4 legs that are all silvers. I had a silver on one leg that was on my second level. On another leg, my silver was on my third level. On another leg, my silver was on my second level. And on my fourth leg, my silver was on my first level. Okay. By the time I was a blue diamond, I needed 5 golds. Some of those frontline builders decided to really go for it. And so by then, I had a qualifier on a gold qualifier on my front line on level 1. Another one was still on my second level. Another one was on my front line it's different people. Do you understand what I'm saying? Different people. And then another one on my front line. So it changes. So don't get hung up on, I have to have my frontline people hitting these ranks. You don't. You just have to have people that you have enrollership of down below. So if you're placing more builders in each leg, it only takes one of them to really go for it, to qualify that leg for you. So yeah, enroll more people, enroll more builders, and place more within each leg. That way each leg, you're not depending on one person. You have lots of options. It's like playing poker with a lot of cards, or a card game with good cards in your hand. You want to have multiple cards to play. Okay. The next question, can I fix my structure if something isn't working? Yes and no. You can't just do anything you want to fix it, but there are ways to fix it. So some things can be fixed and some things can't be. You're going to have to work with someone that knows the compensation plan, that can look at your structure and help you strategize to know your unique scenario. But there are so many ways to fix and tweak structure. You want to be kind of strategic, and you want to be clever, and you want to look at all your options and see what your options are. But there are things called move exceptions that you can apply to dōTERRA. Now they have strict rules about that. A lot of them get denied, but that does exist. There are things like enrollership gifting. Do not ever do that without upline counsel, because you can't always be undone. You can reverse it one time back to the original enroller if they gift it back, but after that, no. So it can be very beneficial in a lot of different scenarios, but you just don't want to do it without somebody advising you and saying, yeah, that's a smart move, and you can do that. You can have people on lower levels roll up if people that are inactive go away. They haven't ordered in a long time, they're inactive, or they disappear, and downline rolls up, so it can kind of compress your structure. That's really, really beneficial for your power of 3. You can clean up your organization and get the structure in those groups of 3 and start kicking in those power of 3 bonuses, or get a lot closer than you think you are. So take a look at that. Reactivations, customers that haven't ordered in 6 months, you can ask them to help you by sending an email in to placements and requesting a new sponsor that you help them write the email, and they send it in, and they have to do that before they reactivate and place their first order. They send the email, it's time-stamped, they order, dōTERRA will honor that and will move them to a new position. So that can be helpful. There's account transfers, there's account swaps. I know you may not know what all of those are. You probably don't need them right now, but work with your upline. You can always reach out to the business advancement team at dōTERRA. Their contact information is on the website. If you're silver and above, you can reach out to your account manager for help strategizing these things. Okay, if structure cannot be fixed, that's fine. I've got places on my team I would love to just move it around and fix it, and I can't. It doesn't matter. You can always fix your business. You can always fix your structure by enrolling new people. In fact, if you keep enrolling people, you won't feel stuck, because you can always build something new. You can always build a new leg. There's no limit on how many legs you can have. You could have 5 legs and just 3 of them hit silver, and now you're a platinum, okay? There's no limit to how many legs you can build. Get some advice on this, though. You don't want to constantly be throwing people on your front line and starting new legs. There's a right time to do it. But you can always build a new leg. You can always build a new leg within a leg, because your qualifier doesn't have to be on your front line. Does that make sense? So get the creative juices flowing and get some other eyes on your organization and do some strategizing. All right, we are going to go over 7 keys to maximizing the comp plan as we finish here. All right, so the first key is your structure is not that messed up. You think it is. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. Everyone thinks, oh my gosh, I've messed it up. Oh my goodness, I have people under people without LRPs, and I didn't do my placements right. I've got too many people across my front line. Everybody feels that way. Everyone's compensation plan is messy and a little wonky and a little lopsided and a little unbalanced. It never looks like those perfect diagrams on our documents. So don't stress out about it. It can be fixed. Just keep enrolling people. It works its way out. The right strategies reveal themselves as you go, as long as you keep bringing more people in and you get more options and you see who's going to build and who's not going to build. It becomes more and more clear. Don't compare with other people. So quit comparing. Everyone's structure is messed up in one way or another. If you get hung up on comparing, and not just comparing, because you're not going to really have your eyes on other people's back offices, right? But it's what's in your head. You're imagining that everybody else's is better and their structure's more balanced and yours is somehow messed up. And that comparing in your mind gets in your head and it sabotages you. You can't be successful when you keep thinking, it's too late, I've already messed it up. So no comparing. Nothing is stopping you. There is nothing you screw up on your compensation plan that messes you up so bad that you can't move forward. You can always move forward. You can always move forward. You can always bring new people in. You can always grow more structure. You can always keep building. Don't leave money on the table. So what I mean by this is study and understand the compensation plan chart so that you don't accidentally miss something and leave money on the table. You don't want to miss that empowerment share. You don't want to miss somebody's PV wasn't there and you thought you were hitting a rank and then you weren't and it was too late to fix it because you needed to do it by the end of the month. Don't leave money on the table. Understand it. I have to tell you, you guys, I see diamonds and above confused often about, I thought they had to have an LRP to get paid. And they think, oh, someone dropped their LRP. I can't fix it. I can't get my paycheck. When they could just go put in that little tiny retail order and fix it and get their huge bonuses. Talk about leaving money on the table, right? So no matter what rank you are, it's not too late to learn this, and it's not too late to become a compensation plan expert, and make sure you're checking all the boxes. All right. You might get to a certain rank, but could you have got there faster if you knew all of your options? Could you have maximized your power 3 if you knew all your options? Could you have made as much money? Could you have made more money if you would have really known all of these options because you understood the compensation plan along the way? You will feel confident that you've maximized your income potential when you feel confident that you know how the compensation plan works. All right? Watch your back office. Check it regularly. Check your PV. Double check and make sure something didn't go weird with your PV or your LRP template. That's a big one. I have messed up and I've lost fast start checks because I bought like holiday items and some of those, they don't duplicate to the next month. And then my PV volume dropped out of my cart lower than 100 and I didn't see it. And shoot, the fast start paycheck went out and I missed a couple $100 or something. I still haven't used my one-time exception because it's not worth it to me to use it for that size of a paycheck. But you only do it once and you learn your lesson. So watch your back office on your own PV, but watch your dashboard, watch your power of 3, and watch your downline. Get familiar with detailed genealogy and the graphic tree. Look at them both. I like the graphic tree because my eyes instantly see their little shapes. If someone that is a key qualifier for my rank or my power of 3 doesn't look right, their shape is off because they need to be a circle if they have a 100 LRP template set up. If it's all of a sudden a square, I know they dropped below 100 and they may not have seen it, and so I can get in touch with them. So I really like to use that. Some people like to use the detailed genealogy more, but I use them both for different things. So get familiar with that and really watch your new builders. I mean, when your team grows big, you can't watch everybody, but watch your key builders, watch yourself, and watch your brand new builders, especially on their LRP template, because they're not used to that yet, and they don't always understand it, and they don't always catch it. And that way you can say, oh, before you put your enrollment in, make sure that you're showing 100 PV. That's important. Okay, review your paychecks. There's 2 places in the back office that you want to fiddle around with and look at. Your commission summary and your account inquiry. Okay, you can find it. Go look. fiddle around in there. It's the best way to learn the back office is just click around, find things. Look at those, study them, figure out where is the money coming from. Okay, this is how much I made this month. How much of it came from Fast Start? How much of it came from my primary bonus? Primary bonus is your mid-month check that includes retail, Power of 3, Unilevel, and your leadership pool shares. Okay, that's your primary bonus. How much am I making from Fast Start, which is listed as secondary bonus? And it's eye-opening sometimes. You're like, oh, wow, I didn't realize that one customer is making me that much regularly. I might want to, thank them for their orders or reach out and support them. Or I'm that close to a Power of 3 rank advancement or Power of 3 level advancement. I need to do a little bit of work and get a couple more LRP customers plugged in. That's going to really radically improve my paycheck, those kind of things. So you can strategize your next move to maximize the compensation plan. You have to know where your money's coming from so you can figure out where you want to grow your commissions. And then the last one, be the CEO of your business. And remember, you're running a business. If you want to make good CEO money, you need to treat your business like a business and you need to hold yourself to a CEO level. CEOs know their numbers. Now, I am not a huge mathy person. Listen, I'm not. I was an art major. I was a salon owner, a hairdresser, a makeup artist. I'm a highly visual, creative person. I do not like that left brain math stuff. I really don't. But you know what I do like? Getting paid. So I get my calculator out multiple times a month. I keep a record. I look at my qualification legs. I add it up. I see what the gaps are and see what needs to be done to tie things off. I pay attention because I know how close I am. And it's inspiring to go, oh, I just need to do this. I'm going to go invite some people to learn about the oils and I'm going to enroll and I'm going to work with my team to hit these marks. So do your calculations. I cannot tell you how many people come this close to a big paycheck and they don't even know it because they weren't watching their back office and they didn't do some basic addition with their calculator to figure out how close they are, or they don't even know what's required to hit that next level, and they have no idea that they're that close and they miss it. So be the CEO. If you treat your business like a hobby, you're going to get paid like a hobby, and most hobbies honestly cost you more than you make. So treat your business like a business. Be a CEO. Go again and get your document and print it out and start studying it. I'm going to tell you again, you log in, you go to resources, you go to literature, and you go to quick reference and you find the compensation plan. Go get it and print it out. And I hope this cleared some things up for you. You're going to learn more and more as you go. The more you do it and you watch it and you study it, the more you understand. And then the light bulbs turn off and you're like, oh my gosh, I see the path forward. Now I see how I'm actually going to accomplish the income that I need to make my vision board my reality, to make my dreams become reality. So it's exciting. It's exciting, and you totally have the power to do it. Thanks for joining me today. I hope this helped you, and go maximize your compensation.